Hi, my name's Michael, and on this episode of Amarok Weekender Lander I'm going to show you how you turn a few little cheap items into a DIY awning to come off the side of your canopy to save you a good couple of £100, and it can be just as useful as a normal one. So whilst it might not be as simple as having an awning that hangs off the side of the car that you can buy, it doesn't actually require that many components to make your own. The main obvious one being a top to use. It's just a cheap one from Amazon. It's 210 centimeters by 140 centimeters. Main limiting factor on the size of your top is the size of your vehicle. I use this one that's 140 centimeters wide because it's just about the width of the double cab aspect of the truck. But it does still hang over onto the windscreen a little bit, but it's fine and it will work it's the biggest shelter I can manage with the space that I have available. So obviously the key bit that you need is a tarp. Then you're going to need some way to attach it to the vehicle itself. If you've got a roof rack or some roof rails, you might not need these, but what I use are these in lieu of that, which are two suction anchors. We use these for quite a lot of different things. We use them to keep the side window of our tent open, because I can't use the tension poles on that side because of the way it hangs over the cab. So these are simply suction fit. They clip onto the roof, they suction down. The roof does need to be clean, otherwise they do come off. And then they've got this little plastic carabiner on the side, and that's how I attach it to one end of the tarp. And then the other end is held up with some telescopic poles, which is these ones. These are 3-part telescopic poles. These specific ones are from Stitches and Steel, but there are lots of other cheaper ones available. Both will be linked in the description below. So whichever ones you want to get, we use these for lots of different things as well, not just the canopy off the side. We could use it as a canopy off the back. And we do also occasionally use it as a canopy sort of awning above the stairs on the rooftop tent itself. A relatively cheap cost. A set of telescopic poles are quite useful. They don't take up much space. They can just live in the back of the truck, and then you've always got them. And then the last little thing that you need is just some pegs or something to hold the guy lines down. My tarp didn't come with any guy lines, so I had to buy them as well, and they just came with some cheap pegs. These aren't going to be facing a whole lot of harsh weather, so they can just be the cheapest pegs that you can find. And then I attach some guy line to one end of the tarp so that it's always there, that we can use it on that end. And that's all you need, and that's why this DIY car awning comes out so cheap in comparison to a fixed pre-made one, because the components are so cheap, but also the components are multi-use as well. So once you use them across a few different things, actually these will end up paying for themselves really quite nicely. So that's it. Some pegs, some way to attach it to the roof. I use a suction anchor, a tarp and some poles, and that's it. So now that we know what goes into it, let's get it attached to the car. that's it. It really is that quick and easy to put up, even for one person in a slightly breezy day. We've now just got that little bit more space around the car that if you coupled this with a windbreak, you'd have a great, quick, easy to access outdoor space. Yes, a built-in awning might be a little bit quicker, but for the minor changes in speed, I think this would be just as good if you're looking for something that's not a permanent addition to your vehicle, or like me, you don't have any roof racks or roof bars yet to mount anything towards. This is a perfect DIY temporary solution that might end up actually becoming your long-term solution to some kind of outdoor space if you don't want an annex or additional air awning or air tent like we use on some of our bigger trips. So why would you go for one of these awnings rather than one of the ones that you can have on the side of your vehicle to pull out? Obviously they both have pros and cons, but for this one it's cheap, it's really lightweight, practical, but it's also customizable. If you've got a bigger or smaller car, you simply buy a bigger or a smaller top. You could have it so that it extends further one way or another, or you could have it go further away from the vehicle if you want more space. You could use more poles, put more guy lines out. Whatever you need that top to do, you can have it do that and not be reliant on it being stuck to the top of your car. The other option is that these parts are all usable elsewhere in your camping setup. Like I say, we could often use that as a bit sort of over the top of our entrance of our rooftop tent. You could have it over the back of the bed to cover a camping or cooking setup. You could have it anywhere. You could use that top as a floor liner. Actually, we use one of these tops as a floor liner in our privacy toilet tent. So it's about one of those of, do you want an item to be single use or do you want it to be multi-use? This way you have a few lightweight, small packable items that are very cheap to buy but are actually multi-purpose. So in that regard, you are saving even more money on, never mind the initial outlay in comparison to a pre-built awning, but then you've also got to consider the multi-use nature of the parts that you've bought and how else you could use them elsewhere. So if that's something you're interested in, all of the parts will be in the description below, so please do go and have a look at them. And anything that you do buy from there will be a massive help to me, but it costs you nothing more. So other than that, please do have a lovely day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment, share this video with friends, all things that help the channel massively and cost you nothing extra. And just remember, the best adventures are made out there, so let's get back out there and have some fun. Thanks, bye-bye. Might have to get you to turn the other way. That's all you need, and that's why this sort of DIY, and that's all you need, and that's why this DIY car canopy comes out so cheaply. And that's all you need, and that's why this DIY. So whilst one of the drawbacks might be that it does need, the wind's getting stronger. To a pre-built awning in comparison to a DIY one, but then you've also got to consider the multi-use nature of the parts that you